Hey! Hello, everyone. My camera's way off. What's up? Happy Friday. How we doing today? Yo, what is up? Oh, man, we got a full chat today. What's up, Tor, Jesse, Atlas, Typical Cross? What's up, CP, Tayson, Nodens? What is up, y'all? Oh, man, let's play of Wildlander. That would be the day. I would love to do one. I really would like to do one. I'm just kind of waiting until, I kind of have a good basis. I was going to wait until the religion stuff is out. That might still be the case. Probably the controls I'm going to get out beforehand. The problem is I got a lot of other stuff to do right now. We're in a big transitory phase in the project, you might say, where there's a lot of managerial things to take care of. Plus, I am, I've got a lot of freelance going on at the moment. Yo, 23 months. Thank you so much, CP. I got some fun stuff to show off today, too. Am I a God of War guy playing the 2018 once again in anticipation of Ragnarok? I would love to be a God of War guy. I am still planning on playing the 2018 one, which I've not gotten to play. I have played all the other games in the series. They're just... it's tough to find time in the day. Because to be honest with you, it's not like a... How do I put this? I'm kind of addicted to working on what I'm working on lately, just because I'm that excited about it. So most of my free time, quote unquote, kind of goes towards that. I'm kind of obsessive in that way. But someday soon, there's a lot of games that I've been kind of waiting to play, and that's definitely one of them. I was really stoked when it came out on PC, because that makes me much more likely to play it. I don't have a PlayStation. So, well, that's half true. I have my friend's PlayStation sitting in the corner, because I borrowed it so I could play Last of Us 2. Because I'm, ooh, this is a jam. Yo, oh my god, Helgari, thank you for 6 months. Much appreciated. Right now, you can see that I'm kind of here. Well, I don't know what you can see. Here, I'll show off what I'm working on currently. This is the state of my office at the moment. It's a little donked, you might say, because I'm making some structural changes. This is like part of me kind of cleaning up and building out some stuff in my office. Oh, actually, here, let's take a look down here as well. Look, power cables. C-stands. These are my soundproofing panels. And basically what I'm trying to do is, I think I mentioned this in one of the other streams, but one of my big freelance things I've been doing is actually voice work. And it's kind of hard to consistently get it quiet in this room. So I'm going to take like a big closet right here, and I'm going to try and see if I can gut it and turn it into like a mini vocal booth, because I already built these sound panels, and it feels to me like kind of a waste to I don't know, not use them, I guess, when you have the resources. Have I done voice work for Wildlander? I have not. There's not been anything thus far where that would fit in, but maybe one day. I don't know. It really depends. It'd be good practice. Can you make a more optimized preset from more mid-range PCs that is not just vanilla textures? Do you mean... What do you mean, Count? Optimize... Like, what exactly is that you're looking for? You're looking for more graphics mods, but, like, between the full and performance? Thanks, Algari. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm sort of going to be doing some of that. I'm planning on making marketing videos once we kind of complete the roadmap. And, I mean, it's kind of tough to figure out, like, a sequence of things. But the rough sequence right now is that I've been working on these controls in my spare time. The real task that I have to be doing right now, and this is what I'm going to be focusing on next week, is just finishing. I, cranked through the mod suggestions. I have some of my own suggestions that I want to crank through, and that's part of the roadmap. Once the roadmap is out, then customization is we're going to unlock. I'm going to make the resources and guides for that. So that's all kind of like administrative and managerial work. It's kind of setting the stage for almost like a soft marketing launch, I guess you might say. Rick is editing the trailer right now, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing the voice for it. We thought it might be cool for someone else to come in and do it, but I don't know. I still haven't decided about that because there's pros and cons to me voicing it, I think. Like, I know the project well and I'm passionate about it, but there's also kind of this degree of, I think, hype and professionalism when you get a professional voice actor to do it. Someone asked me a question I wanted to answer. Oh. What's your favorite new feature since update 1.1.5? I said that correctly, yeah. To be honest, well, I guess 1.1.6 had a lot of stuff. It was a lot of bug fixes primarily. I can't remember if the crafting was in at that point. It's hard for me to remember what the state of 1.1.5 was. But the bug fixes are just the level of polish, I think, in 1.1.6. That is a mouthful. In a world. So 1.2.0 is not going to be ready until after Christmas for sure. That's the jobs update and the religion. Lizzie's going ham on I announced this in one of the other streams, but Lizzie's going ham on jobs and the missives board. I am currently kind of messing with controls and stuff in the meantime. I have to do a bunch of managerial stuff, right? Like administrative, like I just mentioned. So we kind of both decided that it would fit our schedules better and give us more time to, you know, really focus and polish the gameplay editions if we had it after Christmas. But hopefully before then, I will have the admin stuff done. The website will be updated. I will have the guides done for customization so that we can open up what is essentially like crowdsourced development, right? And I think that's going to be really cool. I think that's going to help us kind of get stuff done a little bit faster that doesn't necessarily need, you know, like an intense amount of knowledge or skill, just more like time. Patching is kind of, I mean, of course you need to, it's skill to learn how to patch well, of course, but compared to, you know, something like building out a control scheme. Although, on that note, I was hoping to use, so I have to work on this hurricane of an office later today, so I don't know exactly how long I'm going to be streaming, but I thought it would be fun for us together. I've just been going fucking nuts with the controls and trying to build out a control scheme that I think is going to be really intuitive. It's really exciting. I've been playing a lot with it, and I think it's a lot of fun, and I can kind of show you guys what I've been up to. And I need your help, really, because I'm pretty sure I have the framework of how the controls are going to work. And so clarify here, I'm developing the controls for gamepad first, right? Because it's very easy comparatively to take the gamepad control scheme and adapt it for the keyboard. It's much harder to do that in reverse. So I'm trying to build out a control scheme that works well on the gamepad and then basically just let the keyboard kind of use all the stuff that we build out, more or less. But I'm really excited about it, and I'll show you guys kind of why, and then you can help me figure out. My question right now is like, so I built this framework, and I'll show it to you, and I'm trying to figure out what will go where. And this is where what I thought we could do together is build out a list of essentially controls, commands, things that we need mapped or would like mapped to the gamepad, and I thought we might want to figure out maybe where to put them together, because excuse me, with this kind of stuff, I mean, really, I think that it's good to design carefully, but at a certain point you just need to get out a 1.0 version and then play with it, because there's just things that you'll never pick up on unless you use the control scheme and kind of discover the issues organically. But, you know, measure twice, cut once. If you design a solid thing to begin with, then I think you'll save yourself a lot of work. That's a good Twitch username. Poo is gross. So, well, I can show you here. This is kind of like a strange thing. This was like a little project that I was working on. So here's like, you guys know I've been fucking around with the HUD a bunch. Here's like kind of one of the latest concepts that I have going. And this will intro in our discussion of the controls and kind of how I plan for it to work. So this is like, here. I know that that's going to be blank for you guys. Give me a second. Come on. You can do it. I don't know why it does this. Something about the... Come on. There we go. So this is kind of like where I'm at. Ignore the bottom right for now. And even the bottom left here is not finalized. But... Or nothing's finalized, I guess you might say. Yo, what's up, Max? Wow, happy continued honeymoon. That is rad. Also, thank you, Caleb. I seen that. My thoughts on the Dragon Soul relinquishment. I think that there's a note for that on the... Here, remind me in a second so I don't get too sidetracked. No, mana and stamina will not get reduced from both sides. I don't think they get reduced from both sides right now. They get a... I think they just go from... They start at the right and then they drain to the left, if that makes sense, which is how it'll be likely here. But anyway, so this is like a concept that, yeah, Omni, actually I was just about to talk about that. So this is a concept that I've been playing around with where, I think I mentioned this in one of the other streams, you have like a hotbar, right? There's obviously nothing pictured here because this is just an Illustrator concept. Yeah, it is somewhat like MMO-like, which I think is going to be somewhat polarizing, but I think when you see... Well, one, it's going to be contextual anyway, or you can just turn it off. So if you don't like it, you have the option not to use it. But I think when you guys see kind of how this will impact the gameplay functionally alongside some of the other features, I think you're going to be pretty stoked about it. I've been pretty stoked about it because I've been testing it and playing with it, and it's like night and day, the difference in game feel this stuff makes. Not the hotbar, I mean, but the new control scheme, because the hotbar is not implemented yet. But the basic idea here is that you will have the, 8 boxes kind of bottom center. That's essentially your hotbar. It corresponds to your 1 through 8 hotkeys, right? So whatever you have mapped to a hotkey will appear there. That's a big crux of the thing, right? Also, this song's fantastic. This is an empty tone. The other arrangement. These, you guys can see my cursor, right? Is it large enough? The here left and right and these cuties over there are the cyclers. So not only do you have, you know, the 1 through 8 hotkeys, where I don't know if it's just me, I bet it's not, but I don't know if it's a widespread. I can never remember. The reason that I don't play spellcasters is it's all, I guess it's, I was gonna say 2 reasons, but it's kind of 1. Fucking around with all the different spells, because you get a million different spells, it's hard for me with the vanilla control system. It's not as bad when you're on keyboard, because you have all these hotkeys. I like to play, I'm not usually in combat with a gamepad historically, but I like to use my gamepad a lot, and I don't get access to those hotkeys. And even when I'm playing on keyboard, and I have access to them, I can't remember what they are. It's just, I'm sure I would get better if I practiced, but it's just one of the biggest reasons why I think I've always kind of gravitated towards martial characters, or at minimum, maximum, spellcaster hybrids, we'll say. I like being in the action. I don't like being in the menus, and everything is kind of, you know, built out that way. Still just 8 spells out and hot, leaving room for nothing else. Yeah, guess what, Tor? Well, so you're gonna have... how do I put this? You're gonna have more than 8 things to be able to access. Well, we'll get into it in time. Also, yeah, I feel that, Lizzie. Again, this is all gonna be contextual and it's all gonna be modular. So you can turn off what you want and disable what you don't. Sorry, you can keep what you want and disable what you don't. But so you have these hotkeys, right? I think that's a big deal. Also, you have the cyclers. The cyclers are this and that and this, and that corresponds to your left hand, your right hand, your powers, and your equipment, your items, right? So I think that's a pretty robust framework. And I was like, okay, Liz and I were talking about this week. It's like, how do we really crank this into 12th gear, right? Like, you have all of these different controls now for being able to access a million different spells and whatever. What if we pushed it even further? And so what I'd like to do is, and I've played with this a little bit, but what I'm essentially planning to do, and I'm like 99% sure that 100% of what I want to do here is possible, at least some of it I know is possible because I've already messed with it. I'm gonna give you the ability to, y'all are familiar with Smartcast, I'm sure, right? Smartcast has one of the, yo, what's up, Meth? How you doing? Thanks for hanging out. Do I plan on using the scroll wheel for swapping stuff? Probably not. Oh, presets for the hotbar. That would be an interesting thingy. That's interesting. Maybe I'll see if I can add some sort of hotbar preset system. See, I always get ideas from you guys. Okay, so Smartcast, I agree, generally speaking. So my issue with Smartcast is being able to cast multiple spells at once. That part I'm not going to implement. What I really like about Smartcast is one thing, well, it's really great in general, but there's one feature in particular that I'm after, and that is the ability to cast spells immediately without needing to equip them, right? What is essentially a button tap spellcast. So I really like this feature. It is one of 4 ways that I plan on letting people cast things. One is fairly standard. It's your hands. We all know hand spells. It's the, the Skyrim thing. So you can cast spells with your hands, same as you always could. Number 2 is powers. You're going to be able to cast whatever spells you want. Basically, you're going to be able to take any hand spell and turn it into these, right? You can turn it into a power, so you have a power version of that spell that you can cast with the powers button. So that's option 2. Option 3 is an instant, right? So an instant is like, you don't even have to switch to it. It can just be mapped somewhere, and then you can hit it. It's just mapped as a hotkey. I guess maybe as a cycler, although you might want to be careful with that. I haven't tried using it as a cycler, but it could work in theory. Or it would work, I just think it'd be kind of odd. So that's number 3. And then number 4 is you're going to be able to cast spells as you attack, right? So think like a melee or a bow. So the balance is that you're still always kind of having to do an action with your hand, but beyond that, you have total flexibility. Would instacast be a bit OP? I don't think so, Max, because what's really for your character... and also when I say instant cast, I mean like, think about how in Oblivion you would tap the cast button and your hand would come up and you'd cast the spell upon yourself. It's just like that, right? The only difference between an instant cast and like, what's it called? A power or whatever is that with a power or your hand, you have to like hit a couple extra buttons. You got to switch to it first and then you got to cast it. Your character doesn't have to do that. Your character doesn't know what a HUD is. Your character, functionally speaking, like all of the lead up to when you're actually finally able to cast the spell is all just video game abstraction because of the necessary control scheme, right? Your character, if they want to cast Mage Armor, they don't think, oh, I gotta hit left trigger to put it on my... Or I gotta open my favorites menu, hit left trigger to put it on my hand, go out of the menu, and then pull left trigger to cast it. They just think, oh, I want to cast Mage Armor, and then they do it, right? So this is kind of the thinking. You have all those different methods to control it. I think that it's going to be pretty cool. At least 4 hotkey slots are always the same, permabuffs or easy access. So, I mean, you can still do that if you want. Yeah, well, so double casting and power casting, that's like it. So empowering is what that is. So this was an interesting challenge, right? And this is what has led to what you'll see kind of in the corner, which I think is going to be a really fun mechanic in general. But one of the issues with this was that how do we also allow you to, let's say you're casting one of these spells through your power or through an instant slot, how are you supposed to dual cast them? How are you supposed to empower them mechanically? That's the word, is empower. We thought about it. I thought about it, and it's like, well, I guess you could make it so that the hands, that's something that's kind of unique to them, right? And like a balance thing or whatever, where it's like, oh, you can only dual cast when you put it in your hands, which is not the worst, but in a system that's designed for maximum flexibility and for you to be able to build out your character and how it controls however you want, it's not as fun as it could be, I think. So I was like, fuck, like, how do you do this? Is there a way that we could still kind of dual cast or whatever? So then I came up with essentially Hasubin plus what you just said, sort of. I was like, what if there is a button to empower your cast, to turn on empowered casting, right? That got me thinking. I was like, I've been looking for a way or a format in which to implement stances for a very long time. I always thought the idea of stances were really fun. And so I was like, fuck, what if I just finally implement the stances system? So the idea here is that, yeah, I thought like a modifier key as well, but that one gets complex because I'll show you we're using modifier keys in the game. I was like, what if you had stances that not just applied to spells, but also applied to like melee, give you like a little bit of variety and additional player choice. Arbitrarily, let's say 4 stances, the ones that I could think of off the top of my head. 3 are obvious. One is like, power stance, balance stance, and I don't know what you'd call it, conservative stance, right? Where balance is obviously your default. Power is like, the attacks that you do are more powerful, but they also consume more resources. And then the inverse for the conservative stance, where it's like, oh, I'm more reserved, right? Yeah, focus stance, if you want to call it that. It's a much cooler name. And then I was like, oh, maybe there's a 4th one that's like speed stance, right? Where instead of, improving the power of your attacks in exchange for higher resources, you're improving the speed, right? Because obviously different builds are going to benefit from speed versus power. And I thought this would be really cool because, one, it's, from a mechanical standpoint, it's not that complex. It's easy to understand. 2, it's more fun because you have, or at least in theory, it could be more fun because you have additional player choice elements, right? Like, what sort of, stance do I take for this kind of enemy based on my abilities and opportunities? 3, I would argue it's a lot more realistic, too. I think that in real life, in any sort of, not just combat situation, but any sort of physical situation. And if you've ever played a sport or ever done, whatever, physical situation, that it's like, there's a lot of nuance in being able to, your body's like a crazy machine, and a machine doesn't necessarily have to operate in the same way if it has like variable input. So if you imagine that, like, okay, like you see this kind of shit in anime all the time, right? Like, without any spoilers, I was watching the most recent episode of an anime that's airing right now, and one of the characters fainted his enemy, not made him faint, but like in fighting, it was a feint, F-E-I-N-T, where he made his enemy think that he was getting tired, and the enemy was like, or it was like, oh, his last couple of attacks were really weak, like he must be getting tired, so that they acted based on that. And then the character was like, haha, like I tricked you. I intentionally made those attacks weak to make you think that I'm getting tired, but it's because I was saving up this big fucking strike, right? This is a hilarious way of illustrating that as a human, as a humanoid that is sentient, we have the ability to scale our movements up and down in terms of how much effort and power we put in. Maybe a better, more realistic or relatable example would be like if you're playing tennis, not every fucking attack is, not every swing is going to be 100% of your power. You're going to tweak it and kind of, adjust it to meet the needs of the situation. So I was like, we should be able to do that, right? I think that's fun. Is this kind of AI? Now, bringing this to AI, yo, what's up, Great Pedinsky? AI is tougher. I was thinking about that because ideally, the NPCs have the same toolbox that we do. that's trickier. This is, at the very least, applicable to the player. I can't say for sure that we'd be able to give it to the AI. I can think of ways that you could do it. I was thinking about that. But, you know, yes, I am talking about My Hero, by the way. But yeah, so that's kind of like the idea. And so I thought, let's have a stance system, and that will allow you to empower your casting. Now, here's a a technical question that I still don't have the answer to. I don't know if we're going to be able to full-on dual cast with this, like, you know, power stance or whatever. There is a difference between just scaling up the stuff, because that's what dual casting does. There's a scaling effect, right? Like, technically, behind the scenes, where the power and duration of your... I mean, you can have it do whatever you want, really, but for the most part, especially in Requiem, dual casted spells get a power and or a duration increase. It is also possible to have dual casted spells have unique effects. You see this represented in like the illusion tree a lot, right? Now that's the part I'm not sure. I really just haven't looked into it. I don't know if we're going to be able to replicate that part. I certainly hope so. But, you know, these are just like the questions and the, what's it called? The brainstorming, you might say. So that's kind of the basic idea. So that's what all these bars and boxes are for. It's to show you where these things are. And this over here is like designed to be a stance widget, so you can see what stance you're in. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to keep that there. I'm just messing around, really. And I think that these ideas in one form or another are going to make it in. The controls one for sure. The stances probably. But I don't know. I think it's fun. And I'll show you guys what I've been up to in game. Yes, you would rank up stances with skills as well. So the stances, they would be their own separate skill. The more time you spend in them, doing things with them, the more you level up that stance. I think that would be a lot of fun. That's like half the reason why I'm doing my skill overhaul that I always talk about. It's just so I can add a million different skills. I can make so many different things in the game have a progression element the same way they do in real life, because everything we do in real life has a progression element, right? So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I thought about that. Hasubin Plus too, it's like, oh, you can have the empowered version, but I like the stance solution because then you don't have to have like a separate version of each one. It really depends on what will be possible. But so, why don't I'll show you guys what makes this all possible in game right now, right? I'm going to save this and we can revisit it later if need be. Look at that shot. This Twin Peaks looking ass. So let's go ahead and hop in game. What do I have enabled right now? I'm going to turn off Nature of the Wildlands just so that if we want to go outside, we'll get a decent frame rate. Yes. Well, so, and keep in mind, for anyone who's concerned about balance, like, the spells will all behave exactly the way that they always do. So if a spell has a casting time that is like a master spell requires you to, you know, what is it? Like do the little hibbity booby until it casts, right? That's still going to be the case. I'm not going to cut through any sort of casting time that's supposed to be inherent to the operation of the spell. I'm not gonna let any of these control methods kind of cheat in that way, and there won't be any control methods that, you know, can cheat in ways that the other ones cannot. Also, thank you very much for 2 months, Wash, and thank you, Clier, for 15 months. I did not see that one. And thank you, Ryan, for the Prime sub. Well, I've sort of found a solution to the actor value problem. Right now, the one that I know works is one that I'm not a huge fan of. There are things that you can use as substitutes for actor values. The one that I've been messing with is faction ranks. It works. It's, I think, not ideal. I would just like to have new actor values because they're so great. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it's necessary to really dig in. And I don't know. We'll see. Would you be more likely to unlock power attacks and stuff through the stances or the weapons skills? So you wouldn't unlock power attacks. I mean, you would always have them, right? Like same as you do now. You would just be able to kind of shift what exactly they do. Yes, Metallo. Actor value problem mentioned on YouTube. I had a notion you can do some math to do a bit. Put a lot of numbers into. I'm not following Tor. Oh, what the hell is this? Why is it blue? Hold up. We might have to... I was messing with my Bluetooth a bunch. But it's actually quite frustrating. The Bluetooth on my motherboard has never worked right. It's apparently a common issue with my particular motherboard. I have tried so much to fix it, but needless to say, it's not really... Nothing has worked thus far. What's going on here? Do I not have like input mapper or something? You guys hear that? I can hear it here. It's like it's trying over and over to connect or something. Fun. My motherboard is an X570 MSI something or another. Okay, well, usually when this starts to happen, I can just reinstall my Bluetooth drivers, and that seems to work, more or less. Yes, I'm sure I would like to upgrade from the version that I'm already using to the same version. Shh, here, turn off. Stop making this sound. Repair. Yeah, I mean, there weren't supposed to be any bells and whistles, just a motherboard. Finish. Stop. What is trying... Oh, it's the wireless controller. Remove device. Stop. Pro controller? When did I have a pro controller? Stop. Leave me alone. I'm not afraid anymore. Okay, well, let's try this one more time. Yes, it is an AMD board. What is doing this? Okay, it's blue. Hold on. Let's try unplugging this. Yeah, it is not... It's connecting through, like, the native motherboard is the issue. I think. Okay, because this is the only way I've ever gotten my Bluetooth controllers to work, is by plugging in this thingy. This, what is it called? It's a company. 8-bit dough. Wait. Oh my god, what is okay. We're gonna try this instead. You gonna get on out of here. Say, uninstall device. Delete the driver for this device. Now what, huh? Stop. Alright, now. What are you... Okay, hold on. Now we're going to reinstall that again. This is going to be very annoying. If I can't... Well, I guess I could always plug it in with a USB cable. That might do. At least for the purpose of the stream. We're going to remove this. Remove. Finish. Now install it again. Actually, no. Let's use the one that's specific for our... No. Thingy. Get away from me. What if they see on stream WinRare says, oh, he doesn't have a licensed copy. Come on. Please. I just don't want to have to restart the computer. This is going to fuck up the stream. Okay. Now how are we doing? Does that do it? Now it doesn't even look like it's there still. No, it's not. Maybe if we plug this in. Oh, it thinks it's the Pro controller. That's where that's coming from. Why is it like this? Alright, y'all. I don't... Well, this is usually what I use. So if that's not working, I guess we can try one of these. Shit. You know what? Alright, well, let's see if this works. This is really annoying. If this doesn't work, then I'm gonna go grab one of my USB cables and see what's up. I understand, Tor. My thing is like... that still sounds almost like you'd need an SKSE hook, or am I wrong? Oh, this is a jam too. Man, I'm not gonna... I wish I could hear the jams. But the actor... Oh, well... So you're saying set the actor value to something specific like that? Is the idea? Bluetooth, please. Now is it gonna work? Alright. No, I don't think so. It honestly might if I restart the computer, but I don't know what that will do to the stream, and I would rather not. So, okay. Is it doing the thing? Yep, it is. Okay, very annoying. Here's what I'm gonna do. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna run and grab a USB cable that works with my controller, and then we're gonna see if we can get this working. All right. Oh shit! Actually, no. I don't even need to pause. Ow. Look at this big bag of cables. Can you guys see this? Here, look. I have this. I'm donating this to Goodwill. It's a bunch of like equipment. I don't know if you can hear it. Check it out. I got a lot of stuff in here. There's like 40 HDMI cables. There's like a pop filter. A lot of old power things. I don't know if you guys can really see what's going on in there, but I have a bunch of USB cables in here too. Power strips, audio interface. There's all kinds of stuff. Let me see. Gotta dig through. I have spares, but they're in the other room. I don't want to get up. I might have to. This might be too annoying to look through. Power cables. God dang. This is a lot. Alright, well, I thought I could cheat, but nope. Looks like I'm gonna have to go do it the old-fashioned way. Oh, wait. Oh, we're getting somewhere. I see a bunch of USB cables. Here. Hold on. What are you? No, it's an HDMI. Where's all the... USBs. I swear there was like 40 of them right there. Whatever, it's not worth it. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Lizzie, I didn't know that the Bluetooth controller wouldn't work. Okay, let's, alright, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a cable where I know where one is. Okay, let's try. I hope this works. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to, I suppose, restart the thingy. Okay. Specifically needed a... What's the old USB type? Okay, now what? Now suddenly Bluetooth works? Stupid ass. Can't be it. I guess. Nah, I don't, forget about it. Okay, that's my headphones. Now I'm like, I'd much rather use the, because it's not going to know it's like, I usually have it set up like an Xbox controller. Bluetooth radio is turned on, but not discoverable. Okay. That's still not working. Come on, dude. This is so annoying. Let me see. Maybe I can just try it regular now? Let's see. Come on, please. Bluetooth, wireless controller. Okay, it saw it. But Skyrim still doesn't, and I feel like it should. If it's actually legitimately detecting it, it'll just get it immediately. Oh my god. It was like the last... This is ridiculous. Hold on a second. Maybe I can get drivers? Oh, how's your guys' week been? You can kill time for me. 8-bit dope controller PC driver. I feel like you don't need drivers for this though. Ultimate software. Sick. Like, I know that the controller isn't actually being seen by the computer. Otherwise, it'll just... Skyrim will just pick it up immediately. Bluetooth controllers. Ultimate Bluetooth. Is this USB adapter 2 or 1? How do I know? That's rad, Tor. What? So, yeah. So, what is the... But so let's say that the actor values have that range. What is the benefit? Is the idea that we'd have like certain effects conditioned around specific values that we then modify the actor values to be? Essentially using the numbers within the actor. Okay, let's try this. Okay. Wow, now it's doing it even faster. It's like it's even angrier. Okay. I legitimately have no idea then. I think I'm gonna have to restart the computer, y'all. I'll be back in like 2 seconds. Doesn't take very long for it to restart, and I'm hoping this fixes it. Otherwise, we might have to do something else. Well, I can describe what I was gonna show you, and I promise that it works the way that I'll describe it. But it'd be really way cooler to show you, that's for sure. No, get out of here. All right, what are you meowing about? You guys see her? Wait, kitty, look. No, wait, there. Wants to be let out. Ah, but this is the jam too. This is an empty tome. All right, I'm gonna pause it. Give me 2 seconds. Is there? You guys know if there's a way to like pause a stream so that it doesn't register as like 2 separate VODs automatically, or am I just shit out of luck there? This is where my lack of streamer knowledge will bite me in the butt. Can't through a restart. All right. Oh well. Part 1 and part 2 incoming. And if this doesn't work, then you know who's to say? Then I think we're donezo for the Bluetooth. I'll have to figure it out on my own time. But hopefully it will. A lot of the time it does. Okay, they're gonna be. Don't scratch. I'll let this cat out too. Okay, I will be back in like 2 seconds. Please stand by. Alright.